Hello everybody, this is Zonky the Donkey. Today we're going to be talking about the early access title Squad and how to use the new weapon, the Mortar. This is available for all factions within it. This came in the latest 9.4 patch that came along with mortars, IEDs, mines, and a couple new vehicles. This is one of the most exciting patches in a while, and we're going to be going over mortars today. So mortars are an implaceable FOB asset only, which means the only way you're ever going to get to use one is if you're in a radius of a FOB noted by the top left marker. These come in 81 and 82 millimeter variants depending on which faction you're playing with. They cost 300 construction points each, which means you're going to need a Logi truck support to get 2 of them. And 2 mortars is the maximum you can have per FOB, and then they must be shoveled up to be fully operational. Now, mortars are an indirect fire weapon. That means you don't need to have a direct line of sight on your target, and these have an effective range of about 1,250 meters. So in a lot of the smaller maps, especially like Kokon and stuff, you're going to be able to reach almost the entire map no matter where you place it. That also means you're going to have a spotter. So very similar to the rocket artillery truck, you're going to need a spotter to call in rounds, although the mortar is going to be much easier to operate than that. Now, mortars also come basically preloaded with 3 shots. You have a 3-round magazine, although it's not technically a magazine. And essentially each round is going to cost you, or each magazine is going to cost you 90 ammo points. So after you fire 3, you have to push R to reload the mortar. Now, you can only have 1,000 ammo points on your FOB, so that means, if you have a fully resupplied FOB, you get about 30 to 35 shots out of your mortar before you need to resupply just for ammo. So to operate the mortar, once it's fully built, press your use key, which is F by default, to man the mortar. You'll be presented with this view you have right now, but then you're going to want to right click to get into the aiming mode. Now ignore the crosshair really in the center of your screen. That's mostly just for realism purposes. But the meat and potatoes of how you're going to aim is using the chart that's on your left. And essentially what's going to have to be done first is your squad leader is going to need to place a marker on the map. And you'll see on the compass rose at 150 degrees azimuth, there's a marker that says 750 meters. That is the target my squad leader wants me to hit. So I'm going to line up the bottom vertical line of my crosshair on that at about 149, 150 degrees. And then I'm going to calculate the range. And so at 750 meters, this is, if you look at the chart, it says 1,267 mils. And so I'm going to line it up just about on that. And then that should put you on target. Now, however, there's some other calculations that can be made that's hard to account for in the game, which includes the elevation of you currently in relation to the elevation of your target. Now, mils are essentially, it's a more accurate way of gauging direction. It's essentially, there's 360 degrees in a compass, but there is a lot more mils to allow you to have a higher degree of accuracy. And this is basically in real life, mortarmen and artillerymen use mils rather than degrees. Now, whenever you're going to have a spotter, you're only going to want to fire 1 round at a time. Most people in these games you see firing 3 rounds at a time. It's harder to correct for that as well. But just fire 1 round at a time. That allows your spotter to, he knows what he's seeing. He's just looking for 1 round, and that's going to allow for him to give you corrections in terms of increasing your range, decreasing, or shifting left and to the right. And most often, because you're very rarely firing from one exactly level surface to another level surface that's at the exact same elevation, you're going to need to make some corrections, even though according to the chart it says you're spot on. Now, in terms of the dispersion of how the rounds are fired, whenever you fire a round, it's going to go in that general area, but if you're going to fire 3 rounds back to back to back, they're not all going to land right on top of one another. There's going to be a decent spread, a big cone of fire, if you will, which is really what you want with indirect fire weapons. And the kill radius on these I've seen is somewhat similar, if not more lethal than the rockets from the technical rocket truck. In fact, I think just from a couple days of playing with this, I'm pretty sure it's more lethal, but I don't have any hard facts to back that up. But the kill radius is very substantial. I believe the mortars are a much more serious threat than the rocket trucks due to their ease of use. 1 man can easily operate them, and the fact you can tilt them left and right, unlike the rocket truck. Now in this situation here, this is on Chora or Cora Valley, however you want to say it, but I'm the spotter here for my mortar team, my 2-man mortar team, and I've spotted a FOB that's 750 meters away, basically across the entire map, and then my mortar team's another 200 meters back from me, and I'm calling in mortar rounds directly on an enemy FOB location. I can see infantry going all over the place. We even scored a direct hit on their hab at one point, and this just is just an example of how, as a spotter, you know, the kind of position you just see. You want to be out of the action. You don't want infantry to be threatening you. You want to be able to have good oversight of the battlefield. And you generally want to be calling mortars in on stationary targets. But I just kind of wanted you to see the destructive capability of the mortars. The effects are freaking amazing in this game. And so I'm going to continue doing PlayerUnknown's Battleground content in the future, for sure. I mean, in the near future. But I want to start incorporating squad because of just the deep tactical nature of the game. I think the community will still really like it. So if you're new to squad and you're just seeing this for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting out lots of really good tutorial content, including a series on squad leading. So I will see you guys around. Thank you for watching. Leave me a comment, tell me what you liked and didn't like, and I'll see you guys out in the battlefield.